Welcome, everybody. Well, not everybody. Not everybody is even watching this video. In fact, most people are not even watching YouTube videos at all right now. Most people are in India eating chicken tikka masala. Anyway, today I'm going to do a short video on somebody I've been interested in for quite a while. His name is Francisco de Orellana. And I'm going to refer to him as Frank. No, not really. I'm going to say his name, de Orellana, a few times because he is an incredible guy, and as a conquistador, he should be right up there with Cortez or his cousin, Pizarro. So anyway, I want to talk about him a little bit, just real quick. His real name, Francisco de Orellana, Benjamin Pizarro y Torres de Armanio. They have just a ton of names. But de Orellana is what we'll call him. And he was born in either 1490 or 1511 in Castile, Spain. And he died in 1546, so maybe he was, I don't know, you don't really know. He was in his late 40s. So anyway, his boss, if you think about it, was Charles V, the Holy Roman Emperor. And we've done a few videos on Charles V. His enemy, this is funny, so before the story even happens, he's with his cousin Pizarro, and they defeat the Incas in Peru. And after that's all over, they end up having a kind of a civil war between another conquistador, Diego de Almagro. It was a fight over the Inca capital of Cusco. So anyway, they won that. He did end up at the end of all of this becoming a huge landowner in Ecuador. But his task was to explore the Amazon, and that's what we're going to talk about. But it wasn't really his task. That's not what it started out as. So after all the crazy stuff going on with their little internal civil war, these conquistadors were crazy. So they had heard that there was some gold cities. This is like a thing that the natives would do, I think, just to send Spaniards away when they were annoying them. It happened in North America as well. But anyway, so they went off to search for some gold cities, and they had they left Peru. And I'll think of the name of the city here in a minute. But they had a big group of people. They had like 4,000 natives and a couple hundred Spanish soldiers, and they take off and they get like to the headwaters of the Amazon, and they're basically starving, and there's no city of gold. So De Orellana says they had built one boat to kind of explore, and which is a whole story we'll talk about in a second. So De Orellana says, hey, look, give me about 12 days. I'll take a group of like 20 or 30 folks. We'll take the boat. We'll head down the river, and we'll take one last look around, and then we'll come back. And then we'll head back to Quito. That's the city that they needed to go back to if they could make it. So anyway, after 12 days on the Amazon, the currents were too strong, and they couldn't turn around. They couldn't go back. So eventually the other guy was like, yeah, these guys abandoned us, and they did try to make it back to Quito, but most of them died along the way. It was horrible. Anyway, off to De Orellana's adventure. So he's got his boat, and he takes off, and he's going down the Amazon. So he's exploring the Amazon kind of just by mistake. And you got to remember, this is the, early to mid 1500s, and no Spanish had ever done this. Now, they had recognized that the Amazon was there. A couple people before him would be like, "Wow, this is a huge river," but no one had ever explored it. So his journey down through the Amazon took months and months, and he met with, and it was documented by several different accounts of the folks that were with him along the way, and they met all these fantastic civilizations, and that's where the word Amazon comes from, because one of the tribes had these women warriors. Another tribe was just like old people. I don't know why they didn't send the young people to fight, but it was a crazy story, and he was documenting all of this. And the crazy thing was that if you think about it, these are conquistadors, and they have armor, and they have this, crazy metal hat, and they do have this firearm, which is like a blunderbuss kind of thing. But it doesn't work because the powder is always wet because they're in the Amazon. So they do have different skirmishes with the natives along the way, but they always manage to fight them off with they have crossbows. And of course they have their swords. We have swords, we can do anything. But here's the crazy thing. So they had the foresight to know that they needed metal. There was no metal in the Amazon. So if they were going to build another boat, they had to save the metal. So anytime a soldier died, they took the armor, took the hat, they took every scrap of metal, they kept it with them and stuff, because later they did need to build another boat. They had to refurbish that boat. And can you imagine this? So they're building a boat in the Amazon. And, that's crazy to think about. So obviously they had saws and stuff, but what they had to do was melt down that metal. And to melt down iron, I don't know what it is a pretty darn high temperature. We talked about that in another video as well. But say it's 900 or 1200 degrees or whatever, it's impossible to get a fire that hot in the Amazon. So they had to build a forge in it. Anyway, so to think about it, to build the nails, to build the boat, so eventually they do make it all the way through the Amazon, and they come out, on the coast of South America. And then they refurbish that boat, make it seaworthy for the ocean, and sail. Lord knows where they got to sail. Anyway, they sailed all the way up to the Cuba, where New Spain had their headquarters and stuff, and they ended up getting back all the way to Spain. So then de Orellana is like, hey, I got to tell you this story, and there's this multiple huge civilizations and all this in the Amazon, and it's crazy, and I got to go back. And they're like, yeah, go. So he gets another voyage together, and he does it again. He's going to try it again. But this time, he doesn't make it, and he dies. And at that point, the whole exploration of the Amazon just kind of stops. And everybody has these stories that they're not sure whether they should believe or not. And then it was like a century later, another Spaniard did sail that same voyage again, and he didn't see any of these civilizations. So everybody's like, well, he must have, de Orellana must just have been, lying or, exaggerating. So that was it, But it turns out later, much later, like in the 21st century, where they're using LiDAR, the type of radar to look at the topography of the jungle, where they could see that there were, ancient civilizations and stuff. So it makes you wonder, what happened? Was the timing such that it could have been the civilizations that de Orellana encountered and did hit a contact with the Spaniards, and the diseases. Maybe they all died of smallpox. We don't know. But what we do know, that if you have swords, you can explore the Amazon. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Consider supporting us on Patreon.